Sunday. What a big weekend. Big weekend. Good to see you here. Let me see. Is it Greg? I mean, I would call you Greg. Gregors. Ra is eating. Just going to wait for people to join on here before I get into this topic. Is it Greg? Gors. Oh, it is Gregors, or is it Greg? Good to see everybody, and just letting everybody join in today. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I help people understand that you are your own healer, and this channel is all about becoming more aligned physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I help people shift their patterns so they can experience more peace. Greg, is it Greg? Okay, thank you. Good to see you here, Greg. Can you hear me okay? I noticed I got a new phone, and yesterday I had my light clipped right over the camera, and I didn't know it. And, you know, technology. I'm a little slow. I'm a slow learner when it comes to technology. Ra? You want to... Hey, Gur! Or Jerry? Say hello to Ra. Today we're talking about a topic that I never wanted to cover, but I am digging deep and I am being fearless, and I am going to talk about releasing mind control. And so that's what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. If you're new here, I come on every day. Oh, hey, Sailors Live, good to see you. Ra says hello. I'm on here every day, as you guys know. What keeps you guys coming back? Great topic. I know it's a topic that not a lot of people like. Oh, hey, Oliver, good to see you here. Thanks. Oh, you're excited about this topic. Well, this topic is a rude awakening for many people. Ra just ate, and every time she eats, she has to be held, so she's here for the first 5 minutes while we wait for people to join us. Right, Ra? All right. So yesterday I went and I had an Ayurvedic treatment. Hey, hello. My positive and authentic energy. Oh, thank you. That's good feedback. I'm here to control the... I like that, Jerry. I have to control the release. Eric, hey, Eric, happy birthday. How's the weekend going? My birthday is in December. Ra's birthday is in December, too. Hey, is it Ashley? Oh, how do you say your name? Abe. Abe? Good to see you. I am doing good. She's doing good too. She just had a nice lunch. Hey, Lalu. Just going to wait for people to jump in here. And then we're going to get into this topic. Now remember the topic, the natural law that we're aligning or talking about. We're not aligning to, because we're always aligning to the natural laws, because they basically dictate how energy runs. But we've been talking about for the past week the law of mentalism. And mentalism is our alignment to unity consciousness and that universal mind. So we have our mind that we think is individual, but today you're going to get a good lesson in how it's not always what you think it is. And we align to unity consciousness and to the universal mind through our heart. So if you don't have direct control and authority over your thoughts, then somebody else does. And that the control of your mind directly is connected to the control of your soul. So whether you realize it or not, we have been in what's called a spiritual warfare. Now, there's one reason why I didn't want to do this topic is because a lot of people who talk about this topic have a lot of backlash because there is a readiness to understand how we think. And a lot of people have been conditioned and trained and taught that your mind or your thoughts are yours alone. So when you have that belief, and that is a belief, it's hard to understand that you can have mind control issues and something outside of yourself is actually controlling your thoughts and your thinking. So today's topic is how to release mind control. And so I came up with six different aspects that I thought would be helpful for you all. So I'm just looking at how much time we have here. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Everybody say goodbye, Ra. Say bye, Ra. She's so cute. Look at how cute she is. Say bye. Kisses. Okay, I'm just going to get my tea. Okay, now I am ready for a good topic. Okay, we shall begin. So today we are talking about releasing mind control. So as I mentioned earlier, this is not a topic I generally wanted to talk about, but since I'm digging deep, good to see you all. I am going to just go for it. So if you are not familiar with what mind control is, that is something that I would highly encourage you to get aware of. And why do people not want to understand that? Because it means that you don't have conscious awareness over a massive blind spot that is directly influencing humanity, humans, and people. And that could be quite uncomfortable for a lot of people. So I've given you guys some breadcrumbs along the way of things you could go research. But there is a lot of books out there that you can read and start to get an understanding about mind control and how it gets promulgated to the general population. So I don't know how many of you are really interested in that, but there's a book out there called Chaos. That is all about the Manson murders, but it's really not about the Manson murders so much as to what happened around that whole thing. So it's a big event that happened here in California, but it had ramifications for everybody in the country. And so you might want to check that out. You can look up data and look up on Google MK Ultra. You can look at mind control. So what you want to do is not allow yourself to be dictated by fear, by just creating awareness. That should not cause fear with you. I don't care whether you agree or disagree with me on this. You should be wanting to learn. And if you want to learn about consciousness, you got to look at how does consciousness get suppressed. And that is a big issue for a lot of people, is they don't want to know. So why don't people want to know? Because they don't think it impacts them, but it absolutely impacts you. So here's what I'm going to say. Number one, to release mind control, you must notice if you are at war with yourself, okay? because it'll feel very incongruent, okay? So if you don't know if you have inner conflict, chances are you have inner conflict. So if you're somebody who is doubting yourself, if you're somebody who has a lot of insecurities, maybe you don't look at yourself as having a lot of insecurities, but you get insecure. So that's insecurities. So just call it what it is. We're just talking to ourselves right now, right? We're just becoming aware. So if you're having insecurity, if you're having doubts, if you're questioning yourself a lot, if you notice that you're afraid to say things because you might make people mad, those are good indications that there's something nefarious going on. So we don't need to call what nefarious things they are. Let's just look at the inner conflict. If you're having inner conflict, that is going to be an inner war. When you have an inner war within yourself, you are creating vulnerabilities with yourself energetically. So when you have vulnerabilities energetically, you will be influenced very easily with mind control tactics. So if you don't know what mind control tactics are, now's a good time to start to go Google them. But I'm not talking about what those tactics are, because I want to help you get out of that nightmare, because that is a nightmare. It feels like a nightmare. In fact, I bet many of you have trouble sleeping. So you want to notice if you're at war with yourself. You want to notice the inner conflict, okay? So when you have awareness of inner conflict, it could be helpful to name what the conflict is. Not say it's this big, huge situation, but actually identify the inner conflict. That will be very helpful. If there's more than one, there's more than one. Identify them all, okay? You don't have to be picky. This is just you with you healing you, okay? So, I'm drinking, what am I drinking today? This is called Inner Light tea today. Somebody always asks me, what am I drinking? Inner Light tea today. Okay, so now that you've noticed that you've had inner conflict, now we want to go recognize the thought patterns, because it's not personal, right? We're just having thoughts, so we can identify what the thought pattern is. Well, what triggers that thought pattern? What triggers that pattern to go into inner conflict? So you kind of reverse engineer it. And if you're analytical like me, you know, this is very helpful to reverse engineer things, because you have a situation that's caused something that you have now identified as inner conflict, okay? So we have this inner conflict. We know that. We've identified, oh, this is inner conflict. I'm feeling conflicted over my choices. I'm feeling inner conflict over my decisions. Let's just say that, okay? So now we've got that. Now we're going to go to, okay, what are the thought patterns that triggered that? So what are the thought patterns? Identify the thought patterns. Do you have more than one? Do you have two? Do you have three? What are the thought patterns? And does that mean they were triggered by one thing or two things? So identify the trigger. Why do you want to identify the trigger? Because the trigger is your gift. It is the gift that you have yet to unwrap. Okay, so we're going to unwrap the gifts of being triggered, because a trigger is simply an invitation to understand that you have something that needs healing, that needs your awareness, that needs consciousness, right? So we don't want to deny, we don't want to blame. Oh, you triggered me. Oh, you're welcome then, okay? I trigger lots of people. It's one of my gifts. It's one of my gifts, yeah. You can imagine how many people hate the trigger. You know, you can't do anything about what people perceive of a trigger. But what you can do is what you do with the trigger. That's all that matters, is what you do with the gift. If you are triggered, that is the gift of awareness to go deeper, okay? So you can make what's unconscious conscious. Okay, this channel is all about expanding in consciousness and aligning to the natural laws, okay? I just got distracted by the comment there, because I'm not your honey. Come on now. I have to put you in timeout for that. It's just silliness. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, number 3. Now that you have, 1, notice you have inner conflict. 2, recognize the thought patterns, however many there are. Number 3 is to commit to yourself to rewire your neural pathways. You can do that. You don't go to a doctor to do that because they will give you medicine which rewires it for you in a direction that is not favorable to your heart. So this is about you owning your own energy, your own neural pathways, and you do this by connecting directly with your heart and your soul. The spirit of who you are, that reconnects you, okay? So you can retrain, but only in connection with your spirit and your soul. So you could do that with connection to your higher self, your God self, source energy, creator, what's the other one? God. What's the other one? God. I mean, if you feel, I know a lot of Catholics don't really feel comfortable going directly to God. Like, I don't care what you do. What I do care is that you're connected to whatever is going to help support you in rewiring your neural pathways, because you can do it yourself, okay? Number 4, notice if your thoughts are being hooked, repeating, or if they're in a lower frequency, so a negative type of a thought pattern. Notice that. If that is happening, chances are a high probability that you have an infiltration of your mind. That means that something is pulsing inorganically into your field. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to acknowledge that, but that's what's happening. So go ahead and look and see if that's happening. If it's happening, the next step that you want to do is claim your field. You want to claim your field to be in alignment with the natural laws, with the law of one, with God, sovereign freedom, whatever you feel comfortable with. You want to claim your field to be completely, totally in alignment with what it is that you are moving towards. Okay? Greater alignment to the natural laws, greater alignment to your heart. Okay, well, that means that these access points need to be shored up. They will not be shored up if you haven't claimed your field. So you want to claim your field. Okay? Number 5 is become aware of your mental and emotional states. Okay? Become aware of your mental and emotional states. Acknowledge your mental and emotional state. Don't just try and deny them. You want to acknowledge them. You want to acknowledge your emotions. Your emotions just need acknowledgement. They don't need you to do anything else other than to fully acknowledge them. Your mental state. A lot of people come on here and ask me about depression. Your mental state is important to be aware of, because if you are having lower patterns that are hooked into lower frequencies and you have infiltration, now you know where your lower states are coming from. So you got to reclaim your field in alignment with what is true and organic and natural, and become more conscious. If you are somebody who pretends you're not depressed when you're depressed, that's not acknowledgement. Okay? These are real lessons in conscious awareness. And this last one is going to be really uncomfortable for a lot of you, but I would say challenge your thoughts. Challenge your thoughts. Is this true in relationship to what I believe? The natural laws of God, the natural laws of the law of one, my heart. Like, match your thoughts into those 3 things. If it's not in alignment with those 3 things, it's untrue. That's exactly how you unhook. Okay? If you spam the chat, you will be deleted, okay? So challenge your thoughts. Don't be afraid to challenge your thoughts. A lot of y'all think some really shitty things out there, okay? You think things that are true that are not true. Don't believe your thoughts. Your thoughts are not true all the time. It's okay. We lie to ourselves. Our ego mind lies. We want to balance that with our heart. Is this really in alignment with God? Is this in alignment with my spirit? Is this in alignment with my heart? Is what I'm thinking in alignment with that? And if the answer is no, you have just been guided to the truth. So you know that your thoughts are not true. So then you start to reinvest your energy into where? Your heart. Because that's what those thoughts are doing, is when you have mind control going on, they're disconnecting you from your heart. There is a reason that you're being disconnected from your heart, and that is because there is a consciousness war that people don't know about, because most people don't talk about it, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. People don't talk about it very often because people get I don't know what the word is, shadow banned. They get blocked. They get all kinds of things that happen. But you are your own healer. So you now have 6 legitimate tools in your tool bag. So awareness is all about expanding your conscious awareness. And to do that, you must look in your tool bag and constantly use these new tools that you have. Okay? So, what questions do you have about mind control? Let's see what's in the chat here. Hello, Aiden. Good to see you here. Jerry, control to release. No, I have to control to release. Hey, Eric. Good to see you. I am good. I am good. I'm good. Yes, there's a lot of injustices in the world, but we can't focus on all the injustice. We can just be the change we want to see. Isn't that Gandhi's famous quote, be the change you want to see? You have to change how you are perceiving in order to help other people. Perception is super important. And it's always someone that you get mad at because you don't want to, what are you saying? You don't want to accept something that they're accepting. Albert, we can agree to disagree. Like, that is it's a beautiful thing. I agree to disagree with my husband frequently. You know, we don't agree on everything. Who says that we're supposed to agree on things? That is a tactic of the divide and conquer, right? So people try to divide us. People, energies, frequencies. You can't be divided if you're connected to your heart, first of all. It's impossible. So to accept other people have beliefs that are not in alignment with yours is okay. You know, for me, that's normal. You know, I grew up in a family where my brother really was not okay with people having different beliefs than him. He was very much into, can I say this? I could say this. I'm not spilling his tea. I'm spilling my experience with his tea. He believed that if you didn't believe what he believed, then you couldn't have a conversation, that you couldn't be in communion. You couldn't be friends. You couldn't even be family. And so that's a very limiting pool of people that you could be around. And those are called yes men, you know. And in business and in success, those people bring you down to failure. When people believe how you believe, that are unwilling to speak their own truth because they need to speak your truth, that's a problem. right? That is a real problem for inner congruence. So, you know, there are many religions that have that belief system. To me, that's mind control. Now, do people who are religious think they're being mind controlled? No, they don't think that until they get out of it, and then they call that a cult. And then those cult members go and create a business that have all ex-cult members from their cult in them. It's crazy. Why does that happen? I see this happening with a business in LA. Why? Because people have a resonance, they have a frequency, and they align to that. So you have to go out of alignment with that. You know, there are some people that just, and I used to be one of them, I did not like to think that there was evil out there, that I didn't want to believe it. And I would see people do really mean and cruel things, and I wouldn't call it evil, but it was that. So my lack of willingness to call something the truth, which is that's evil, that's against God, that's against the natural laws, my unwillingness to do that kept me in resonance with those types of people until I said, okay, I'm going to call it what it is. That is, and I'm not even calling it to them because they don't matter. It's about me being okay with being in the truth. It doesn't mean that I need to tell them what the truth is. They have their own alignment. So I go into alignment with my own heart, my own spirit, the frequency of truth, the frequency of consciousness, the frequency of God consciousness, the frequency of unity consciousness. All of those are frequencies of a very high vibration. So, is it comfortable to acknowledge things that are uncomfortable? No. But if you go back to the beginning of this series of the Being in Sync 366, I think for the first 10 or 15 or 20 videos, I talked about going out of your comfort zone. Why? Because expansion does not occur in the comfort zone. My clients that want to get promoted, they want to get promoted doing the same thing they've always done. Good luck. It doesn't work like that. You have to align to the new position. You have to align to a new way of being. You have to align to a new way of leading. You don't get to have more access doing the same BS. No, it doesn't work that way. Anyways, let's see, what's going on here. Okay, Carol saying, I'm new here to the stream. What is your channel about? Okay. This channel is all about the natural laws. My name is Kiana Sage, and I help people align to the natural laws physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I help people identify patterns that are incongruent so they can align more within themselves to their heart, to their soul, to their truth, to their power, and I do that through a process called energy psychology. I am not teaching remote viewing. Although I do see holographically. I don't teach that to people. I only teach people how to see their own field. Because when you see, sense, and feel your own field, then you get to really own it. And one of the reasons why people go out of alignment within is because they don't own their own field. And if you don't own it, somebody else does. If you don't have control over your thoughts, something else will. All right. Oliver saying, agree to disagree and accept. Beautiful, Oliver. I agree. Oh, hey, Mick. Sounds a bit like my big brother until he realized who his younger brother is. Interesting. Yeah, people have their own ways of waking up. We all have our own ways of waking up. And some of us are tethered and tied to organizations or ways of being that are nefarious, and we don't know it. Like, we think the medical system is good until we realize the medical system isn't what we thought it was. We think the church is good until we realize it doesn't feel the way I thought it was supposed to feel, or it doesn't feel right. We think music is good until we understand the frequency of which the music is being sent. We think a lot of things that are wrong. Why? Because we have not owned our own domain of our energy field, and therefore we get things called implants. We get all kinds of siphon aspects that come not just from people, but from things and AI machines. There's all kinds of things that happen out there. I'm not even skimming the surface here. I'm not even going into that, okay? I am just simply asking you all to be more aware. So as you grow in awareness, you can have more conscious choice. Because if you are not consciously choosing, something is going to choose for you, and it's always going to be a lower frequency, I promise you. Always. And that's how you know you have interference. Okay, thanks, Carol. There's a lot of spams, unfortunately. Okay, how are you? Are you well? My greetings to you, and I wish you success and prosperity. Thank you. May that be multiplied to you and everybody in this chat. Yes. Ali, I just explained it. You can go up into the description, but everything we talk about here are practices to get in alignment with the natural laws. Today's topic is releasing mind control, and I just spent 20 minutes talking about 6 different aspects that are really important to release mind control. I look like an IT psychiatrist. Well, Ali, you have been fooled. That just goes to show you, you should not trust your thinking. Perfect example. Because you're totally wrong. Hey, doctor. Good to see you. Good to see you, Crankin. Are you talking about meditation XYZ? Not today. We're talking about releasing mind control. Mick is saying, music I used to listen to, I won't listen to, right? When you start to, if you listen to the words of music, it is really interesting. Because going back maybe 15 years ago, maybe even more, 20, 30 years ago, every year, this is a good strategy for you all who are into this kind of thing, but before the new year, I start November, December, I basically is when I help my clients plan for the new year. And everybody has their goals and intentions done by Thanksgiving, okay? That's November 25th-ish, somewhere around there. Okay. But one of the techniques for motivation and inspiration to keeping on track is to have a playlist, a motivational playlist. I like motivational songs, like one song that is like your theme of the year. And that will cause you to listen to the words. And when you listen to the words of a song, you will start to notice that that song that you loved wasn't really positive, doesn't really lift you up. You may like it, but just because you like it or love it doesn't mean it's going to motivate or inspire you. So you really want to look at the words of songs. Dr. Kraken saying, I want to ask, I started to chat and got the advice. Is giving me good advice like Tara post. Can you tell me, is it good? I don't know what you're talking about here, Dr. Kraken. Oh, it's ChatGPT. Well, I wonder what ChatGPT says about mind control. Why don't you do that? Do you approve of me wanting to become transgender woman or transgender man? Well, first of all, you don't need my approval. So I don't know why you would ask that. You obviously have an idea in your head, but you're wanting to know my stance on it. And I will give you my stance on gender. There is a law, a universal law of gender. That's a masculine and feminine principle. I think I covered that 2 weeks ago. Okay, so everything has the masculine and feminine principle in it. Our changing of our genders is an agenda. So you will want to understand, why would you want to change your gender? Why are you not accepting yourself as a expression of God, an expression of source, an expression of the divine? That's what I would ask you. It's not about me approving you or doing it or not doing it. Everybody has their own soul path, but I would wonder, what are you doing to connect with your soul? What are you doing to connect with your heart? What are you doing to connect with the natural laws? And why are you not accepting yourself? Why? Anything that is about non-acceptance, that's anti-life, anti-Christ, anti-love, that's all the gender thing is. Unfortunately, there's a lot of data starting to come out about that machine and that agenda, but if you get the transgender surgery, that hooks you in totally, completely to a demonic energy called farmy. Farmy is what I'm calling it, farmy. You can decipher what that is. So I would ask you those questions. Allie's saying, client, oh, healthcare specialist. I am not any of those things. Ali, why don't you go read the description, okay? XYZ saying, Kiana's brilliant. Thank you. I am just simply a mirror for you, XYZ. That's it. Mick is saying, man, woman, nothing in between with respect. You are created perfectly, right? We must align to creation. Hello, Sachin. My beautiful, soft little thing. In my country, there is a logic and an understanding that is connected to violence. So this logic of fear and violence is a trap for the mind. Correct. Let's just say it's easy to fall into that crap. What I will say is that's a consciousness trap. Beautiful, my beautiful, soft little thing. That's what I call a consciousness trap. Correct. You are 100% correct. There are many consciousness traps, and consciousness traps loop you into a lower frequency. You are 100% spot on. What do you do? Well, I gave 6 different aspects today, but I would say notice the inner conflict. And obviously, once you notice the inner conflict, it's your job to resolve it, number 1. Number 2, what did number 2? Recognize the thought patterns. I went through all of this in the first 20 minutes. So that's what I would do. And also, my little soft little thing, what I would say, I keep on changing your name, is you're more advanced. So I would say challenge those thoughts. So when you notice you have those thoughts, ask yourself, is this thought in alignment with my heart? Is this thought in alignment with my spirit? Is this thought in alignment with my connection to creation, God, source energy? And when you get the answer is untrue, then you know that's BS. So call BS what it is and refocus your attention in alignment to those things that you know to be true. Nature, nurture, kindness, love, those things. If God wants me to connect with both masculine and feminine, yes, we are masculine and feminine energy. That's what God is, all of creation. So masculine and feminine energy are part of creation. Correct. Yes. Allie's saying, I am very intellectual, calm, and on point. Well, Ollie, I am just a reflection of you. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. It's important for us to have support in thinking as we grow in consciousness, So that's how we continue to expand. We don't want to just expand a little. We want to expand totally, right? At least I do. Oh, I'm Google. I couldn't be further from that. I'm afraid, ABT, about. Okay, I'm afraid about relationship these days. What is my will? What do you will advice about relationship and marriage? Well, first of all, I don't know why you're scared. Are you scared of your shadow? And if so, why? Like, challenge your fears. Like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of seeing yourself fully, totally, completely? That's what relationships do. They trigger the hell out of you to come into alignment. At least the good ones do. The bad ones are also learning, but they're not as beautiful. Ali, consultant. I was thinking about it. It is similar to a psychiatrist. I am not a psychiatrist or fitness instructor. You know, I have had this problem my entire career. Ollie, you're triggering me. I'm seeing you as a beautiful gift. I've had this very situation my entire career. People ask me if I'm a therapist. They call me a therapist. They call me their shrink. They call me their fixer. I've been called more unkind names that I won't repeat here because I don't need you spamming that. But I will say I am nothing at all what you think I am. So the best thing I can say is, what is your experience of me? It's just that I've been brought up in a violent circumstance. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my beautiful, soft little thing. And it's just say it's at the roots of my education. Talking about the street violence education. Okay. And I am vulnerable. Okay. So my beautiful, soft little thing. You've heard me give assignments to other people on here. Then they go off and they don't come back on. But I don't think you're like that. But you must learn your lessons. So what are your lessons about violence? And I would go and get all of your lessons about violence. So what does violence do? It separates you from God, creation, source energy. That's one lesson. So what you want to do is go find all of your lessons around violence, so violence does not become a trap for you. If you don't learn your lessons, we continue to resonate with that same frequency. At least that's my experience. This is how I do it. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that do it another way. This is how I do it, that you could do it on your own. I actually transmute all this for my clients when they come to me. That's what I do. I help them actually clear and remove and delete patterns. It's harder to do on your own, but it is possible. XYZ is saying how to fight the evil on the internet is a big, well, you don't fight evil, because fighting with evil is exactly the hook that hooks you into that lower frequency. So you don't fight, you just claim what's true and real. And make conscious choices. Hey, Elliot, good to see you here again. Thank you, David. Hello, Ecuador. Hello, Mexican Thai. This channel's all about the natural laws. Hey, Kiana, my name is Abdita. I teach computer science. I'm not even close to 250K subs. As you see, this is a very small but very mighty channel. This is not therapy. And what I will say, Ali, is that people either resonate with what I'm saying or they don't. And that's okay. You don't have to like or resonate with everything I say. Just take what works for you and go implement it. Implement it. Implement consciousness into your life. That's what I'm hoping for. Conscious choice every day. Okay, I am not a president's wife, and I have no plans of being in a movie. My beautiful, soft little thing, you are so welcome. Hey, you are welcome, and that's a very big lesson. It's not always easy to identify your lessons, but when it's a core issue like that, and my beautiful, soft little thing, you could go back to my soul lessons video, and it will help you because this is one of your soul lessons. So it's probably going to be, when it's a soul lessons, different than just a regular lesson. Soul lessons are much bigger. There are a lot more lessons. So depending on how consciously aware you are, depends on how many lessons you have. Okay? And you are amazing. And just because you grew up in violence doesn't mean you have to live that way anymore. Mick is aligning with what you're saying. I grew up around violence, and then right outside my door was violent growing up, and that's why I left everyone behind, because to be who I was meant to be. Sometimes, Mick, we have to make conscious choices to really embody our soul in an environment that allows the healing to emerge. Sometimes doing it in connection with everybody that we know is not always possible. And, sometimes you just gotta go. Sometimes you gotta go. Now, I do have some close friends that are trying to do it, but in connection with the same people that cause them the patterns, and they just don't want to let go. They might not heal in this life. It really takes conscious choice in the direction that you want to go for change to emerge. And one of the things about aligning to the natural laws is you're going to have to change your lifestyle, folks. You have to change your lifestyle. You don't get to be the same wounded person in the same lifestyle that you were wounded in. You got to change to a different lifestyle. I think it's healthier, but it's different. It's a different lifestyle. And Mick, you probably know. When you let go of the fear, you don't get to be the same fearful person. You get to be spiritual. You get to be on this channel. Right, Mick? Sat Yam is saying how to deal with the past trauma. Well, everybody deals with their traumas differently. So, I would ask you, what have you done to deal with your past trauma? And if you're still contending with it, like the people that go to therapy for years and years and years, if you are still going to therapy for years and years, it doesn't mean that you have a lot of trauma. It means that you might be codependent, okay? It might mean that. You shouldn't be focusing on traumas for years and years and years. It doesn't take that long to heal trauma. I do it, and it doesn't take that long to heal trauma at all. What does take longer is creating the new behaviors that are aligned to health, because with trauma comes coping mechanisms, which I did a 2-part series on here this week on coping mechanisms. Those coping mechanisms are what keep you in a cycle of repeating. No, I'm not a psychologist. Why not? Consciousness, good or bad? I prefer bad consciousness. Well, then that is your choice. But I would say that's probably not even you that is choosing that. That would be a lack of having single soul occupancy. So I would definitely reclaim your field and clear out for single soul occupancy. Okay, what is this channel's purpose? Well, I'm glad that you asked that question. The purpose, I originally went on here, for the purpose of this video series is 366 videos every single day. about the natural laws and giving fundamental practices on how people can align physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, okay? So that's the purpose of this video series. The purpose of this channel originally started with the hopes of helping at least just one person. That was the purpose. Has it changed? No. The purpose is still the same, to help at least one person. If I can help one person align more to their truth, then I've done my service. All right, lady. Your intellectual words make my heart wearing sneakers dance while fireworks lighting in the back. Very cute, Ollie. Thank you. What lessons are we talking about? Sorry, I'm a bit behind. Somebody was having soul lessons, so I was answering their question. Okay, tell me about the depth of search. I don't know anything about search algorithms. You could see this channel is not marketed in any way. Will I please, DJ is asking me, will you please talk about mind control and grief? Thank you so much, DJ, for asking a question about the topic, which is releasing mind control. So, and you're asking specifically about grief. So I will tell you, grief is an experience of the heart, okay? Mind control is going to try and disconnect you from the heart. But grief, when we are in the heart and we are feeling vulnerable, it can make us go into what's called a psycho-spiritual event, okay? You could Google that, you could look it up. And that event is very much a link and a tentacle or a cord into a dark night of the soul, which goes on repeat, unfortunately. And there are some people who are on the dark night of the soul on repeat. That means that you're having what is intended to be a spiritual evolution or cycle into consciousness awareness, but when you're constantly being looped back into the pain and you can't get out of it, that is inorganic interference, otherwise known as mind control, and that is devastating. So what I would suggest for that, DJ, is to get off the roller coaster, okay? So I'm just thinking, what would I recommend for that? Besides a session would get you out of that. Let me see. I would say, DJ, you need to be out in nature, like deep in nature. So whether you go to the beach or do you go to a lake, it needs to be a real lake, not a man-made lake, or go into the woods. You need to do that every day for, I would say, 30 days. And you should get, that will kick you out of that cycle, I think. You would have to be the judge of that, but that's what I would recommend. That's free. That's something you could do on your own. You could do it at your own free will. You have full control over it. You just need to be totally, fully immersed every single day. So figure out how you could do that. Be immersed in nature. Mick is saying, you've helped me so much. Oh, thank you, Mick. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. I'm so glad that you're here. Right back at you. Ollie's saying, I am not doing any mind control here. You are mind controlling me into getting addicted to your advice. I might become a better person. You might, but only you can be the judge of that. With more emotional understanding. Any thoughts on that? Yes, consciousness is directly correlated to emotional intelligence and intelligence. Because knowing, getting into your knowingness, is a higher level of consciousness. It is higher than your thoughts. XYZ says that I am so clear about most of the most difficult questions about life. Really? I'm just speaking from my heart. Greg is saying, ask good questions on the topic of mind control, and Kiana will not ignore you. That's right, I will not ignore you. But we're at the end. I have changed the person I am now, not what I was before. Good for you. It's hard to change. Change can be hard, but you are worth it. Ali says, I feel confident and intellectual. Yes, that's your personal power. Congratulations. Ollie's on it. You're on a roll, Ollie. Okay, you all, we're at 55 minutes here. I have gone the gamut. I have dug deep. I have shared brilliantly about mind control. And what I'm telling you is really go get the book, Chaos. That's a really good deep dive into the origins of mind control around a story that most people are familiar about. Google some of mind control, Google MK Ultra, Google and start to get familiar with what mind control is. Know that all your thoughts are not your own. So you might want to look up what are some mind control tactics, because I'm not talking about them, but that would be a good deep dive. Satnam is saying, I don't talk or meet with those people who gave me trauma in the past. I do not have contact with them for 3 years, and still sometimes when I think about it, I feel like taking revenge. Satnam, this is a very good example of how relationships do not end when we leave or when people die. So these people could actually die and you would still have to have a relationship with them, because the trauma does not resolve just because you made conscious choices to not have them in your life. You still need to learn the lessons from the experience. Every experience that you have in this life is an experience of love just waiting to be witnessed and observed by you. And when you can witness and observe every single situation from this space of love, you experience healing. That is 100% the truth. Revenge is not the answer. That is what hooks you into that lower frequency. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I just gave you Satyam. I just told you what to do. What questions do you have? You have to go into that frequency of love. Everything is love. You just are not seeing it because you're in pain, and that's natural. How does pain change? Love. What heals pain? Love. What heals, what gets you closer to love? Your connection to God, creation, source energy, your heart, being in kindness and compassion and truth. Those are all things that will help you heal. Hey, Sailors Live, good to see you here. Thank you all for being here. If you're new to this channel, I do these videos today. This is the Being in Sync 366 video series. I come on every day between 12 and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with a different topic that helps people align physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If you have any questions or you watch my other videos, please let me know you're watching so I know that people are there. I would hate for this content to go to waste. If you like it, share it. I appreciate you all for being here. I hope you have a great Sunday. Yes, people forget to love because they're disconnected from their heart, Jeff. But you're not one of them. You know better. So you lead by example. Okay, y'all, you have a great day. I'm Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. I will see you tomorrow. I said it before. Darkness can't drive out darkness. The light can drive out darkness, correct? Oh, congratulations, Test. 4 weeks clean. Congratulations. Satyam, the secrets will make you sick, so do not hold secrets. Oh, good job, Test. Congratulations. We're here for you to support and cheer you on. This channel is all about alignment to the natural laws, to being in alignment with God's sovereign freedom, truth frequency, love frequency. You got it. See you all tomorrow. Bye.